Hi, I'm Ted Nelson, shooting on Christmas Day 2017, with an anecdote that I just remembered from long ago. Pair of anecdotes. When I was a sophomore in college, I took a heavy schedule in the fall. Swarthmore had an arrangement with the University of Pennsylvania I could take courses there, but only that year because I was going into a restricted program the following year. So I had 3 courses at the University of Pennsylvania and 3 courses at Swarthmore, and it was a little heavy. And I was taking linguistics and sociology and anthropology. Linguistics with Zelig Harris, who was actually Chomsky's teacher as well. So I was feeling very pressured, and the dormitory was noisy, and I rented a room off campus for $15 a week. I don't remember the name of the lady, but she was very nice. And so it was a bed, a table, and a clock. And the clock said, Hammond. And when you plugged it in, it didn't start. You had to turn a little flywheel, she showed me, in the back to start the clock running. Well, I discovered that you could turn the flywheel in either direction if you wanted the clock to turn backward. Now, why would you want the clock to turn backward? Answer: if, as you are when you're under pressure, you're a clock watcher, then you can't tell what time it is if it's running backward. At least I couldn't without making a calculation on paper. So I set it to running backward, so if I really wanted to know what time it was, I could figure it out. But otherwise, I wouldn't keep watching the clock. And that worked out fine, and Harris gave me a good grade. And that was that chapter of my life. The Horphian hypothesis it was about. Loved linguistics. So anyway, 14 years later, things were not too active in my chosen profession. I'd already been a consultant to Bell Laboratories, CBS Laboratories, I think. But at the moment, I was driving a taxi cab in Manhattan. Slightly ignominious, but I always loved Manhattan traffic. And I was a lane change artist in those days. So at 5 o'clock about one day, I picked up a nice old gentleman outside the Plaza Hotel, 57th Street entrance. And he was just going 3 blocks east, he said, to his doctor's office. And he said, "You look like an interesting young fellow. What else do you do besides drive a cab?" Well, of course, I'd love to talk about that. I said, "I'm an inventor." And he said, "I used to call myself that." "You've heard of the Hammond Organ?" I said, "Are you Mr. Hammond?" He said, "Yes." I said, "But wow, I always thought that was such a brilliant principle. You just had these polygonal wheels running next to the induction coil, and it made such a nice sound." And he said, "Yeah, but I didn't always make organs. Before that, I made clocks. And I had a patent. And I thought I had a monopoly on this nice way of synchronizing the line current with an induction from this polygonal wheel. But then somebody started putting out another clock made the same way, much more cheaply. And I sued. And lo and behold, it turned out this had been invented in Germany the year I was born. So the patent was no longer valid. My competitor was doing much better. So there I was, with a useless patent and a pile of polygonal wheels. So I thought, what else can I do with it? And I discovered that you got this nice sound out of it. I said, well. And he developed this into this magnificent line of musical instruments and speakers to boot. Well, that was a very nice exchange we had. A very nice lesson. If you have lemons, make lemonade. If you have a lot of polygonal wheels, see what they sound like. And don't give up. Thank you.